Are you ready to rock?
Yep.
Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Here we are. It's 10:33. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think we have a microphone working. We had a little plug-in issue this morning. So hopefully that is, we're all rebalanced now. So give us a quick shout if you think the vocal needs to come up, the spoken word as opposed to the music, or vice versa, and we will adjust accordingly. We're using a couple of different plugins than we normally do. Okay, I'm just going to go and find the chat here. Give me 1 second. I apologize. I'm not seeing you all or your chat coming up. Here it is. Hit the live. Go to the link. Always a little bit of YouTube always gives you a couple of extra hurdles to navigate. Hello, everybody. So we have Hans van der Boom. How are you? Jens, how are you? Jens, Cyril, Daniel, Trevor. Hey, Trevor. Hey, Don. Hey, Egg Explore. Thomas, Aaron, Mary, and Sam. Tom C. Yeah, just let us know, everybody. You know, Tom, just the difference between the volume of the vocal, you know, the against the track. Just because we're using a couple of different plugins than we normally do, because we had a. Joel says Vox is a little lower than usual, but no issue here. I'm stopping to stare at Eric because it was too loud, according to Eric. Busted. Hey, Warren and Eric from Michael. Hey, Michael. Hey, Bengt. Hey, Anita, Dustin, Frozen Colors, Super J, Studio Garderobe, Eduardo, Peter. How are you all? Chris. Hey, Chris Coral. Hey, Chappie, the Lockdown Band 1. Eric with the K. Hey, Eric. Am I getting everybody? Oh, Paul St. Ed's. I think I said Aaron Bird. Patrick Larson. Blue Wave Dave. Country Tea. Hey, Andy. Hey, Chaz. Chaz says, greetings, plappers, intergalactic plappers, no less, sorry, from lovely South Wales, New York, USA. Well, I'm sure we do have Welsh members. Welsh members as well. Hey, Tim. Vocal level is good, says Chris. Okay. Hey, Kat. How is everybody? It's been an insanely busy week. That would be an understatement of the decade. We do actually have a course coming out today, before I forget. Shameless plug, with Jordan. Jordan has that online community called Hardcore Music. And it's mainly built around like heavy rock and metal. So, you know, I wanted to do, we've got a few courses in that genre, but I wanted to stretch our wings a bit and collaborate with some other people because, as you know, it's all about collaboration. It's all about community building. That's really, it's the mantra since the beginning. And he did 2 songs for us. One band's quite successful called Silverstein. I'm not in that world, but apparently they're quite successful, and a few people were very absolutely happy.
Super cool band.
They're a really cool band, says Eric.
I would see them a lot in Warped Tour and all that stuff.
Oh, Eric's actually a fan and saw them play on the Warped Tour and lots of other stuff. Ching, a real live endorsement from Eric. So one of the tracks is Silverstein, and the other one is, I'm blanking on the name of the band.
After Image. After
Image?
Yeah. And
so After Image, I love. It is insane, like prog metal with like, but the music's like, so I was thinking, for those of you that do purchase the course, those of you who do purchase it, remember you can do the PLAP 25, the PLAP 25, and you'll get an additional 25% off of the introductory price. So if you buy it, I think I want to do an episode with Jordan just inside the Academy. So that way we can do, like, listen to the mixes and have him be involved. I think it'd be very exciting. All right. So check that out. It comes out in 22 minutes because it's 10:38. My math. Whew. So it's wonderful to have you on that. Put that on a T-shirt. Which bit? Which bit? Yeah, Cat says Lucius until some. Yeah, it's screamo-ish. It's like that classic. You know, the vocals. I always make this joke. The vocals sound like English choir boys. I don't know why you. And then the chorus sounds like Cookie Monster. And then it goes back. 'Cause I never ever. Yeah, that's what Silverstein's like. But it's super melodic. It's very melodic, like pop metal. But then the other one's like prog metal. And it's awesome. I mean, it's like so wrong. It's right. It's just. It's like everything completely like prog meets like the most dangerous, ugly sounding stuff. And it's freaking awesome. So, you like the prog noise I made? Oh, on a T-shirt. Hey, Addy, Hit the Road Music Studio. We've been threatening over the last probably 6, 9, even maybe a year to be doing some special stuff with Addy because he's an absolute rock star. He's traveling around with him and his girlfriend in an RV recording bands all over the world. And we've got something really special coming out with him in a few weeks that I think you're all going to love. And yeah. He deserves all of our attention and love because he's doing some really great work. As the phrase goes, he's doing God's work. He's getting out there. He is. He's finding artists in crazy countries. When I say crazy, there's nothing crazy about them. That sounds so patronizing. What I mean is like things that you don't hear about. He's finding artists from places that don't get any kind of attention or love. I don't know why I said crazy countries. Got such a sorry. I apologize for that. He's taking people in great places and giving them attention and recording them and filming them as well. So it's going to be freaking awesome. So we're going to do a big push on that in a few weeks. I'm quite. We're still going through all the stuff and getting it all organized, but it's going to be really fantastic. Plus, I don't know if he's got the guitar yet, but he broke his acoustic. Remember, did you see a few weeks ago he had the photo of him holding a broken acoustic? And I got in contact with our good friend Scott at Yamaha and said, hey, our friend has broken his acoustic and this is what he's doing. And I didn't even have to, really ask a specific question. I just kind of told him 5 seconds of what he's doing. And he's like, okay, just get me an address and I'll ship him one. So that's absolutely wonderful. Yeah. This is what's just such an amazing community we have here. Isn't it incredible that we have all of these amazing people in here? I mean, I'm looking here at all of the people commenting, and I know all your work. Chris is here. Ibbotson is just insane. So talented. Peter Samuelson, like when he makes a comment, it's usually like, yep, that's pretty spot on. Great ears. Magnus, insanely talented musician. I should stop there. I don't want to start cherry picking people because it feels like I'm picking favorites. I don't mean it like Bengt. Bengt is such a great guy. Just really, really great people here. I shouldn't be picking anybody out because it's not about that. But that's the point. This community is just full of incredibly talented and really, really helpful people that just really give a crap and help each other out. And it's growing rapidly. It's growing not so much in size, it's growing in importance because you are all little thought leaders of your own. You're thought leaders. God, why did I say little? I'm having one of those days where my vocabulary is terrible. So you're all thought leaders, and it's immense. People give a crap. They want to know what you think, and I want to know what you think. It's amazing. All right, let's listen to some music, because you know me, I'll waffle on all day. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's just waffle. I see Ross Johnson is up first with Catalyst, and this is an interesting view, Eric. Eric went for the maximum view there. Oh, still. Okay. So, Another track that I mixed after the contest was over. I didn't add all of the cool echoes that had been on the final mix for a lack of time. The Gallery Catalyst mixed 2020 by Singtel. Okay. Here it is.
You once lit me up like a cigarette, and you burned me down, and now there's nothing left. You were the one who put a spark to this. You were the gasoline, you were the catalyst.
Great job, Ross. Really good. So I was making notes as we went. Sometimes you'll see me, I write on my phone. Sometimes I write on the computer. This time I wrote on the computer. So, and I put this big counter up here. It's just a good reference point sometimes when we want to pinpoint an area or something. Okay, so I think overall it's really great. I agree with Chris. I saw his comment come up. Lead vocal overall should come up a bit. I really do love the harmony blend. It's fantastic. The way that they're compressed together is beautiful.
You were the one who put a spark to this. You were the gasoline. You were the catalyst.
but the lead vocal disappears. So I've got this, beat me up like a cigarette. I hear that harmony come in, but I'm like, where's the lead over the top? So I think the lead needs to come up about a dB and a half all over the whole song. I think the vocal just needs to be a little bit more loud and proud. My concern is, though, that with the bus compression, the amount that's going on is that it might start pumping if any one thing comes up. So I think you've got to back off that bus compression. Not that I like looking, but I'm going to look here. I mean, it's not like square waved off, but there's not a huge amount of room for dynamics in there. You know, if we, you know, for instance, oh yeah, if we, for instance, just kind of clip gain that up, I mean, it's good, but it hasn't got a lot of room for maneuvering in there. So my concern is if we bring in, start bringing up the vocal too much, it might just smash your master bus a little bit. So you might have to bring that down ever so slightly. It's tough. It's always going to be that play. But I think the backgrounds are beautiful, but they need to come down about a dB, vocal up a dB to a dB and a half. Maybe try 1 dB all over, bring the backgrounds and the choruses down a dB. Overall, it's really bright. It's a very, very bright mix. I don't know if I'd want to listen to it on the Austrian audios. I'd probably find it a little too painful. Just to be honest, I think it probably, just for schnitz and schniggles, I'm going to drop into a...
Like a cigarette and you burned me down and now there's nothing left. You were the one who put a spark to...
It's pretty bright. So I think, you know, just be aware of that. I think what I would do is I'd get that lead vocal up, start a dB up, bring the backgrounds down in the choruses. On reflection, maybe 0.7, because now you've got a differentiator of 1.7 dB between lead vocal and backgrounds, which is actually a lot. It's nearly 2 dB difference. It's like flip. And then get in there. The bass is like... The bass has like some dropout kind of notes going on. So if you go... so see what's happening there. It's either really loud, like the boom, it's like... and then it disappears there. So I think the bass down... I think I would stick the MV2 at the end if you have it. I mean, it's a $29 plugin. It works great for me. So if I would stick the MV2 on the end and bring the low-level stuff up, you know, with the low-level compensation. But I'd probably turn the bass down overall. Like this is too loud here, and then disappears there. And then just comes in really super strong there. So I think the bass needs to be more even. I do like the treatment to it, though, on the whole. It feels like it's just holding down the low end. It's a very Tom Lord Alge bass sound from the 90s. When Tom mixed my band's record, the bass, when he soloed it, was just... it was just kind of filling in low mids and low end. And then what he would do is he would open it up if it was ever soloed. But I think there, we've got to address that. So you need to control the low-end stuff, the low-level stuff, not the frequency, the low-level stuff. So bring that up. With the MV2, you can push it up. If you don't want to buy the MV2 or you don't have it for whatever reason, that's fine. Do a parallel where you schnizzle completely, compress it so evenly, and then pull that up underneath, and then bring that parallel in against it. So you're going to have two subgroups. You're going to have the elements of the bass going to one subgroup and the elements of bass going to another subgroup. And on that second subgroup, you're going to so aggressively compress it with compression and limiting, that it's just whoop, 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 whoop the whole time. And you can tuck that underneath and then blend the two together. It works. It's just a more complicated way of doing it than just sticking the M for mother, V for vertical 2. And that MV2 is max volume 2. Anyway, really, really good in many, many ways. So I don't have a problem with any of the guitar stuff. I think overall it's a little bright. I think it's like a master bus EQ thing. Whatever's going on at the very end of the stage, if you're doing some boost from 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, you might be doing a 10 or 12 gentle boost up there, and it might just be catching a lot of the stuff. So maybe whatever's going on in the master bus, just relax. If you're not doing anything on the master bus, then maybe just relax ever so slightly things. Because if you bring down everything a quarter or half a dB on a busing before it goes to the end, the difference will be massive. This is one of the things that's really important for us to talk about. Like, we tend to, when I first started, I tended to just swing to extremes. I either had too much low end or not any at all. I either had too much high end or no high end at all, because I'd go in and turn everything down 3 dB and then come back and wonder why I couldn't hear it anymore. We have to work in like dB increments at maximum most of the time to really hear things. Anyway, next up is just I need that sub on the kick. I need a down there. If we do a little trick, let's grab the C4, for instance. Oh, we don't have the C4 at the moment because we got some waves installation issue. Okay, then we're going to go to our friends Mac DSP. Just go to this one here. Can I solo the band on here? I've never actually done that. That's hilarious. I've never, ever done that. And I don't know if I can. Serves me right. Serves me right for trying to be clever. When you rely on something and you're so used to it, isn't that funny? You're just like, I'm so used to that. All right, I'm not gonna spend ages looking, but I can just grab a simple EQ, which won't be an REQ this time, and I'm going to go stock. Can't get better than stock. So EQ, I'll go 7-band just so I can have it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is literally just do this. Okay, down to 120. I mean, 120 and below is just dominated by bass. Yeah, I got nothing down there I can grab onto. Nothing we can grab onto. So we need to get that sub going. The bass is like super, super pumping down there. I think once it's more even, we should be able to shape it a little better. See if you can get in there and go down to that 60 area and just pull out some of the, you know, now I boosted the 60, there is actually kick coming up. But so is a ton of bass guitar. So give me some more sub, some like 60, 50, and 40 happening down there. Be careful not to boost when you boost the low end on the kick, that you're not bringing up too much 80 and 100, because all you're going to end up doing is covering the bass guitar. But I think with the bass, the bass more even, you should be able to sit it in a little better. If you get those loudest notes to be a dB lower, that will really, really help. And then get it on your bass guitar and just at about 60, start, 50 or 60, probably 60, just start high passing. It doesn't have to be super aggressive, but just get in there and just create some space down there for that kick drum to live. Otherwise, just a wonderful overall mix. I mean, it's that lead vocal art, backgrounds tucked just underneath, getting the low subbiness on the kick, making the bass feel more even, but bringing it down overall once it is even. It's about a dB too loud at the moment. And I think those are going to be, And the brightness overall, just trying to tame any high-end boosting going on, just a little bit. I don't mean to go in there and just turn everything down by 3 dB on the high end. Just tame either all the buses leading up to the master bus, but if you're doing a master bus boost or you're using some kind of mastering software on there, just don't go too aggressive. Fantastic. Great work, Ross. Phil Bicker is up next, and Phil said, and I quote, watch the live stream on YouTube of Warren going through this track and was pretty keen to give it a crack. I copied a few...
The one below.
Say it again?
It's the one below.
Oh.
Real big right there. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened on that page.
You didn't scroll down.
That's true.
Let's see. Yeah, it's whatever. Sorry, the other person that I read out, they're all like, what? It's not me? Yeah, it probably does, Chris. I don't know if it does have a stock multiband. I've always been using that, but we can emulate it with good EQ anyway. It's fine. I mean, I was here. I'm hearing it, obviously. I'm just trying to illustrate it for everybody else. We didn't always illustrate it. We just talked about it. So it's all good. Anyway, Phil Bicker says, haven't posted for a while, so hope this is going to be the one. Much time spent on the vocals, vocal finalizer and drums, especially Tom's. Still don't think they're right, but here goes. We can always improve. Don't worry about it, Phil. Also using the rear bus trick advocated by Andrew Sheps and Chris Selim. Some subtle... And to be honest, the first person I knew that used that in a big way was Dave Jordan in the 80s. Some subtle volume automation to bring up the highlights. Hope everyone is safe and well. Wonderful.
Let me feel it, so no.
Okay, so my notes are this. And first of all, it's interesting because I think we're all probably going to think the same things, but the positives on this are pretty massive. Vocals sound fantastic. Sound really, really good. Lily's voice sounds absolutely wonderful. It's right in its place where it should be. It's just freaking awesome. The drums are super punchy. Like super, super punchy. I think it's interesting with the toms. Anita said she would cut the decay time down a bit, and I think I'd probably agree with that. But I do love those toms, and this whole front section here, all the mid-range detail and everything's really great in this mix. Guitars sound great. Room on the snares, great. That snare's biting. But I like those wrong toms. They're really cool. I mean, it's very 80s. I mean, this band was, us doing kind of 80s-ish, production with a little bit of an indie tinge. It was like an 80s indie thing. That was the whole idea of this band right from the get-go. So I think you sort of nailed that. But so here are the things I would change, and I think that everybody is sort of in agreement on this. The bass itself is very mid-rangey. In some ways, it sort of works, and other ways it doesn't. But it feels like I want to go in there and grab. If we go and grab, it's just our 7-band EQ. Bend up, break, just know you played up. You know who you are. I'm gonna need someone to fix my heart, stitch me up inside. See, there I'm at 120, maybe come down to about 110-ish. Bend up, break, just know you played up. You know who you are. I'm gonna need someone to fix my heart, stitch me up inside before it apart. I wonder where I'd be. That's where Anita's talking about maybe using a transient designer and shortening the decay on the toms. So even with that absolutely massive 7 dB almost boost at about 110, I still feel like the bass needs some more, inside of the mix. You need to get in there and get me some like 80 to 100, 80 to 110 on the bass. That's where, the R bass or something of equivalent comes in. It's an easy tool to use. Obviously, you saw me talking about using the Pultec as well down there, but the R bass does the same job and does it extremely well. And you can also, obviously, EQ, use the R bass, combine everything together. So get in there, give us a little bit more low-lows on the bass, but not pulling up the 50, 60, 40, 50, 60 area on the bass. Let's make sure the kick breathes down there. I love the drums. They're super punchy. You'll probably want to add a little bit more subbiness to the kick once you bring in some more body on that bass. But overall, a really, Phil, great to have you back mixing, and just a really great sounding mix. You're not a million miles off. It's interesting because we can break these down and talk about these things, and you can get depressed and be like, oh, there's like these 3 things that are wrong. Yeah, but the mid-range detail on this is really good. The vocal sound is fantastic. It's ever so slightly, occasionally a little bit lispy, but I think I would go in there and do some automation on S's and T's, but subtle stuff. You're a lot closer, a lot closer. Really, really great work. Yeah, I would shorten the decay on the tom, or just volume, volume disc. So it's doom. You could either go in there and use, if you're in Pro Tools, you could use, what's it called? The slowdown tool, Verify. Do you guys and girls know Verify? I don't know. I don't remember where it's under. I don't even see it. It used to be on the other version of Pro Tools. Harmonic. Where is it? Pitch shift. There it is. So if you don't know verify, I'm not sure what DAW is, you could do this on the end of your toms. Let's take, for instance, the end of the song. Oh, that's Niklaus's end. Let's go back to here for a second. On this note here. So what you can do is you can slow it down or speed it up. So if I do slow down, I got this. Let's take a little bit shorter. So it's like a vinyl record slowing down. So it might be kind of fun to do on those toms. It could go and you could just take the last nanosecond of it and slow it down. That might be kind of cool. Anyway, have some fun with it. I don't know if there's an equivalent plug-in to that. It's called Verify in Pro Tools. It was a trick in the late 90s when it first came out. You used to hear so many songs. You remember in the late 90s, it'd be like, da-da-do-do-do-do-do-do. All right, what do we got up third here? We have Niklaus. Let me just make some notes. Okay, Niklaus, and it's Who's in the Right? Another Gallery song. Gallery get a lot of love. Had fun doing this one. Amazing song. I did a fairly quick pass for this one and tried to keep it simple since it sounded good from the start. I went for a brighter sound since I've noticed I've aimed for darker mixes lately. Tell me if it's too bright. Hope you had a good autumn. Hope you have a good autumn. Yes. Excellent. And Jurger's getting in with some suggestions there. Fantastic. All right, let's give it a listen. Here is Niklaus's version, his mix of Who's in the Right by the Gallery, who are very heavily featured today.
Sunny days and smiling faces. Isn't that where we belong? And down the road only hope can take us, singing songs of peace and love, singing now. Heavy hearts, they wanna
It's a really cool mix. It's a really, really cool mix. Niklas, what I love this preacher vocal sound, because this is a really, really good illustration of how mixing isn't just always about. We talk about this a lot, but I'll reiterate it. Isn't always about like, oh, well, you've got to get blah, blah, blah hertz on the this and compress the blah, blah, blah and the bleedy, blah, blah, all this kind of stuff. We get too caught up in the technical. One of the beauties and the blessings of my life is that I have been able to do all of these different roles. I've been a, musician, so I think that helps so much of us. Those of you that are musicians, it's a wonderful thing. Then, of course, engineer and producer. But also, I've managed artists and I've worked at record companies. I've worked at 2 different record companies. And, when you're doing A&R stuff at record companies, nobody listens to 40 hertz, 60 hertz, 80 hertz, 7K, 5K. Nobody talks about that stuff at all unless they don't like something, and then they'll come to guys and girls like us and say, how can we fix this? And then we give them opinions, or we remix it, or whatever, or retrack it. We do. Otherwise, they just care about results. I would say if I was in an A&R meeting and somebody sent me this mix, this is what they would do. They'd be like, it doesn't sound like the best mix, but I love the idea of it. I think this, because, and Chris was saying this as well about liking the vocal sound. The vocal sound gives it this kind of like preacher on the mount, like on a mountaintop prophet almost, because it's this kind of, it's not just about having a lot of reverb. It's very reverberated, but it's also very mid-rangey. So it's got a sort of a sound of coming through a tannoy. It hasn't quite got the telephone voice. It's got a tannoy kind of like, so it sounds like, and the lyrics, if you think about it, it's like who's in the wrong and who's in the right. It's talking about, about war, about, it's their opinion on stuff like that, and it's great. It's giving us this opportunity to, he's giving his opinion, whether you agree or not is irrelevant. It just has a feeling of like, a younger guy saying something to the world of like, it's powerful. And that's what music should be. It should be something that says something. And he did a really, really good job on it. So for me, I only like Fat Stubby Snares on the right song. Ay. It really depends on the song. On this one, we did go for Tom Petty. So, yes, it was going for the tubby snare. So the little pingy snare doesn't really work. But no, anyway, but yeah, for me, it's all about the creativity and the understanding. So my notes were love the preacher vocal sound is what I wrote. Now, the only thing is, for me, not the only thing, one of the things is the low end is like a little bit, I don't know who's trying to win here. So if I go for like 330, have a listen here.
Singing now, who's in the wrong, yeah, who's in the right, who's in the wrong, yeah, who's in the right.
If you listen to that area again, like sometimes the kick is there.
Singing now, who's in the wrong, yeah, who's in the right, who's in the wrong, yeah, who's in the right. Singing now, who's in the wrong, yeah, who's in the right, who's in the wrong.
Just disappears there. So there's some low-end battle going on between bass and kick. You know what I mean? It doesn't know who's in the wrong and who's in the right. Who's the right bass sound there? So we got to carve out some area there. There's probably a couple of things going on. Bass build-up can be a little hot, when you've got a kick and a bass both producing a lot in the same area. The master bus might, squash it down a little bit. It doesn't sound like it's pumping too much there. A couple of other areas it is pumping a little bit, but we need some definition. We need to get just high past the bass, just enough to allow the bloom of the low end of the kick, and then just a little bit of subbiness underneath to help support it. And there's nothing wrong with a little 20 to 40 hertz just creeping in with the kick drum, so that focus between 50 and 60 just is nice in there. Obviously, in dance music and EDM, we have a whole different set of rules. But in this track, in a more organic song, I'm looking at 50 and 60 as being solid punch in the kick. and then a little support from a 20 to 40 hertz, just a little bit. You know, when you boost that bell of the 60, you're going to bring up a little bit of 40 here and a little bit of 20 down there. And that's okay. But being careful not to bring up too much 80 to 100 because that's going to smother your bass. So I think we need a little bit of that, a little bit stronger high passing on the low end of the bass and a little bit of extra boost on the kick. But be careful on your master bus that it isn't just kind of pumping all the time with just low end. Okay, 3 minutes. Oh, I wanted to point this out. I love this. It'll be fun.
We'll drop bombs all day and night.
I love the BV coming in and doing that. They'll drop bombs all day and night. I love it there, just kind of like giving me that same reinforcement of the preacher and everything. I really, really love it. You know, it's you know what I mean? It really, really helps support that lead vocal sound. Absolutely love it.
We'll drop bombs all day and night.
Yeah, Tim, I don't think it's quite megaphone. It's more like a tannoy PA. It's got a little bit more breadth to it. You know what I mean? Or like just like a PA in general.
We'll drop bombs all day and night until the other one's down and out of sight. It seems we can't move on without a fight. Singing now, who's in the wrong?
So that low-end competition, I think we need to see. And then the other thing for me is the gang vocal. I think it's a missed opportunity, honestly. I know you've kept it in that narrow, mid-rangey area, but I think it's a missed opportunity. I think the gang vocal should be massive and expansive. I think that's, especially if you were to think about this from like, you've got like the preacher, and then you've got the guys on stage, the choir on stage with the preacher singing along. The gang vocal will represent the audience. And I think that, you know, the congregation.
Who's in the wrong and who's in the right?
Yeah, I want that to be like, ah. I think I want to make that bigger and just make it seem like, you know, the mic was turned, pointed towards the audience to encourage them to sing, you know, and that was a big moment there. I think other things I absolutely love is I love the muting on that first chorus. You know, it really adds to the, where was it?
Isn't that where we belong?
That's what I get for not.
Show who's in the wrong and who's in the right. Who's in the wrong and who's in the right.
That moment is pretty special, the way you presented it with just the Hammond just creeping through. Really fantastic. Yeah, great work. I think ultimately the vocal sound is huge and really gives this song a purpose and a direction, which is really remarkable. All right, Eduardo is next. Great work, Niklas. And Eduardo says, hello, everyone. I heard this song is one of the Feedback Friday videos. Chose it to make the first mix at the Academy. Great. Gave me a bit of work, the fact that the files were stereo recordings, but I think I could handle it. With all due respect, I added some elements. Oh, that's why it's called Produce Like a Pro, and it's not mix. So don't worry about it. I collaborate, have other people play on it, try different ideas, sometimes just use the vocal, remix it, do other stuff. We're all about it, whatever you want to do. There's no ego here. It's just like, let's support each other and try other stuff. I had to do wonders because the record is not treated, and I have reflections and atmosphere. Where I record, sorry, I'm reading it wrong. Where I record is not treated, and I have so many reflections and atmosphere of the room for the percussions. I know what he's saying. So he's saying there's a lot of like reflections going on. I hope the added elements sound like part of the mix. Tambourine, little cabasa, and some backgrounds. Wonderful. Additional added some VST instruments, violin, B3 organ, and Rhodes. I didn't manage to equalize the voice as well as the reference mix, but at least I managed to put it above the mix. Wonderful. Appreciate your comments. Excited to hear it, Eduardo.
Your smile, you drive me wild. Your eyes intoxicate. I get restless, leaves me breathless. I can hardly wait to be a man, the best I can, to sing you songs, to make you dance. I'll be the fool who takes a chance to end up next to you. I wouldn't change a thing. Try to kind of dream from your head down to your feet. You're perfect to me. The way you try your hair, the way you just don't care. You're perfect to me. From your head down to your feet. Songs to make you dance, be the fool who takes a chance to end up next to you. I wouldn't change a thing. Take a shortcut of dream from your head down to your feet. You're perfect to me. The way you tie your hair, the way you just don't care. You're perfect to me. From your head down.
Wow, Eduardo. I absolutely love it. My notes are pretty simple. First of all, strings, absolutely beautiful. That intro here, let's go back to it. Absolutely amazing. The additions in the chorus here. Love that choir feel there. It's very Nights in White Satin. I have to say, Eduardo, please, 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 please send these additions that you did to Eric so he can add them. I think it would be absolutely amazing to let other people be able to mix this song with this. As you know, this was done as a mic demo. I'm blanking on which mic it was now, but it's a song I wrote for my wife, you know, a few years ago that was covered by Mark Broussard and was actually kind of a hit for him. Thank you, Mark, for covering it. And his version, of course, is absolutely amazing. I produced the track, so I played on that as well. But what was wonderful about Mark's version is he's just got that voice, you know. He's got that, you know, that thing that I don't have. Okay, I absolutely love it. Please, please, please make these tracks, additional tracks, available for other members of the Academy, Eduardo. I would love it. I know everybody here would love to be able to add this stuff to the mix. That'd be great. My only comments, apart from like going, oh, I love this, I love that, writing these notes, was just bringing the marching snare down. It's just, I love everything else you've added, but it's just too much. It should be just in there, just in the back, moving the song along.
I'll be the fool who takes a chance to end up next to you. I wouldn't change a thing. Short kind of dream.
Yeah, it's a really, really fantastic element. You've done so much great additional production to it. My hat's off to you. Where's my hat? There's a method in my madness. My hat's off to you. Eric's making me a cup of tea, or else I'd have him grab it. But, you know, it's a really, really a great mix. It's just a volume thing. Just bring that marching band down. But I like this. I hear the kick there just go boom, boom. I don't want to change it. I think the kick, there's a right balance between you making it sound old-fashioned, which I like. And I don't mean, you know, like limited kind of mix. I mean just like... Yeah, I love it. Yeah, PG Tips is the best. That's what I'm getting. I think I'm still drinking my rather wonderful present of PG Tips. Thank you ever so much. Yeah, on the Mark Broussard one, we did a different sort of production on it, yeah, I did different stuff on it. I played different guitar parts and different stuff. So I was trying to do a different version for my wife than I would have done with Mark. Yeah, I really like this. The low end's great. The low end's really, really good. There's times when the bass just sits beautifully, especially here.
Songs to make you dance, be the fool who takes a chance to end up next to you.
Yeah, it's just, I know it's probably a nice thing to be able to have that snare come in as a lift, but yeah, it's just a little bit too much. I think you've done some wonderful work. Maybe a few bit of automated moments, those kind of double stop guitars I do, maybe just bring them up ever so slightly. Really wonderful work, Eduardo. Please, please, please make those tracks available for other Academy members to add to their mix. I don't use Heat, Jeff. I've never really did. I think I record with a lot of older vintage equipment, and I use mics like the Lewitt mics, which are, as you know, very detailed and very natural sounding, and then I just kind of mess them up a little bit, either with the mic pre or in the mixing stage. The Heat thing, I think, was a little too arbitrary for me. You know what I mean? I could be wrong. It just felt like, yeah, great. Eduardo, wonderful work. Earl Roberts is up next. Please make those multi-tracks available. Send them to Eric so he can put them up. Earl Roberts is up next. Hey, Earl. How are you? Oh, my tea's coming. My first post for Feedback Friday. Input needed. Many thanks. Oh, wonderful. Just a couple of days ago. So let's check out Earl Roberts' first mix. Thank you very much, Eric.
You know who you are. I can move, can't change a thing. I bend, I break, just know you played up. You know who you are. I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. Oh, I know where I'd be if I had it from the start. I really need someone. All that in life was half a heart. Will I make it with half a heart? How can I live with half a heart? I'll make it till tomorrow. Oh, my half a heart. I won't die from sorrow. No, not taking part. I'll make it till tomorrow. Oh, my half a heart. I won't die from sorrow. Oh, 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 all that in life was half a heart. Will I make it with half a heart? How can I live with half a heart?
Marvellous. Yes, I had to put a cap on. It's my, obviously, England Test cap. I had to put my cap on if Test match cricket, by the way. Sorry, I'm sure those who know know that's my favourite sport. But anyway, I had to put it on so I wouldn't be able to take it off. If I would take my hat off. All right, so I really like this mix. I think there's some good comments going down. I think in general, it was interesting to hear that first chorus.
You know who you are. I'm gonna need someone to fix my half.
So it's a good discussion point because if you hear there on that first discussion chorus, have a listen again.
You know who you are. I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. Oh, I know where I'd be if I had it from the start.
So I'm listening to it thinking to myself, okay, has he chosen specifically not to do guitars? And then, of course, the last chorus comes in. So it's like a conscious choice to build some tension and have it in there. I feel like in general, there's so much that's great about this mix. Like I'm enjoying this idea of the vocal coming down the center and then the background's basically just being clustered around it super tightly, as opposed to like lead vocal, background here, background there. So that's a refreshing change. I do like that. But at the same time, I'm always looking for width as being something that helps choruses pop. You know, you can narrow down your verses and the chorus comes in and things go bang, bang, you know, volume comes up, dynamics increase, but also so does width and depth. And suddenly it's just big and you're singing along. You know, you know, it's a chorus you can sing to. That's the great thing about this song. So I think for me, I would bring those guitars back into the first. I feel like I know what you were doing and I really appreciate thinking that way, but I don't feel like there's enough of a lift there. Now, in general, it sounds really good. I was a little concerned, and I'm just going to try it here, about the phase relationship on the drums. So let me just grab a trim here. Going to pan these center. Yeah, there's no phase cancellation on the kick and snare. If I put this into mono and take one side and flip it out.
Get till tomorrow.
So there is something a little weird going on in there. I wonder what it is. So I was hearing some phasing. So that's weird. So if you listen with one side phase, the polarity flipped. So all the vocals have disappeared because they're straight down the center. Bring them all together. So the kick and snare should completely disappear. But what's interesting is the kick and snare is still working regardless. So what I think is happening, and what I was hearing in that section, is like there must be some doubleness going on, meaning that the drums are coming out twice with different polarities. And I've seen that happen before. It could be a reverb send on the kick and snare. I don't know that that is allowing the drums to pass through. The blend is more towards live drums and less towards reverb. But you hear the phasing that I'm hearing? Have a listen to the drums here. Let's flip the polarity of one side. Kick slight. The kick is perfectly down the middle now. Take the polarity back off, so the same. So I think it's like double coming out. If I was to guess, Earl, I feel like maybe you've got the kick and snare coming out twice with slightly different polarity. You might be using some kind of widening on it. It's a little disconcerting there. So I turn this plugin off completely so you know it's not affecting. You just hear how it's like something weird going on in that section. It's interesting though, because it's not perfectly phase cancelling the whole thing out. It's like double doing it. Yeah, it's a strange one. So I would definitely go in and look at that. And I think in general, the mix just needs a bit more thickness, a bit more low mids. It doesn't feel like it's totally scooped, which is great, because sometimes I get mixes where people are a little nervous about low mids and they end up scooping out so it's completely different. But just a little bit more toughness in those low mids. It's super close, though. It's super, super close. I think, Earl, I don't know where you are in your development, but there's definitely many, many people in here you could share your mix breakdown with. Like, share some screenshots or, jump on Skype or something like that and have a discussion and see if you can figure out where that phasing issue is being caused on the drums. But the good news is, and this is what I want you to take away from this, is your instincts are really good. The mix is really well balanced. I think it needs a bit more thickness in the mids and the low mids, just in general, just like maybe a little less high passing. And I don't mean dramatically, but just, take those curves up ever so slightly. Just ever so slightly. Introduce a little bit more thickness in there. And then see if you can figure out where this, issue's coming from, whether it's with a widening plug-in going on or whether there is some double, I think it's a double bussing. I've had this happen to me before, and I've had this happen to sessions that have been sent to me. But there's wonderful, great, there's so many great people in there that will help. I'm sure we can take this to the next level. But the good news is your instincts are really good. This is a very well balanced mix. And I think that is an important thing, is like, that's probably 90% of your gig, is having good instincts and getting it balanced. And then the technical things, which is what's going on here, is stuff we can solve quite easily. Having the instincts to get something like this is the biggest part of it. So great work. Excellent work, Earl. All right, next up is Frozen Colors. And I know Frozen Colors is here. I think I'm going to run to the bathroom and have... take that off. Have Mr. Eric Von Gonzalez tell one of his infamous... Not famous, infamous.
Dun, 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 dun.
Jokes.
Oh wait, that's the theme song too. That's
Hey, here I am on the street. I can't give you everything.
Oh no, he started singing, guys. Hello, 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 hello. Good news, I am not as tired as I normally would be. Thank God. Yeah, this is a ear break. Now everyone can rest your ears. Here, I'll take this off. Oof. Warren took the pop filter, so I can take this off. Cause pop filter soaks up a lot of spit and nasty stuff. Which little gross thing is I never thought about cleaning pop filters. So when I started like engineering and stuff for Warren, the pop filter on the main mic probably wasn't cleaned until maybe last year. When we had an artist come in that liked to eat a lot of pretzels that had peanut butter in it. He liked to eat a lot of that stuff and then go singing, and just, yeah, that pop filter was just full of like white stuff just clunked in there. So then it was just like, oh yeah, we should probably clean this. Oh yeah, a masked man entered the studio. Yeah, the mask actually makes for a good pop filter, huh? Oh my God, my weekend off was amazing. It was, I wouldn't mind going back this weekend. Well, actually, it is the weekend already, huh? Either way, I wouldn't mind going back. It was one of those houses, an Airbnb that is off a river. So the backyard leads to your own private dock that's on the river. And then an uncle of mine brought jet skis. And so it was a lot of drinking and not driving while drinking or while being intoxicated, but a lot of it was good times. Yeah, I know that yeah, the pop filter was pretty yuck. All right, I need to find a joke before Warren comes out here. He's like, "What? You didn't tell a joke? Blah blah blah. That's what am I paying you for?" Going through my. It's that time where I need to do some searching, some really deep searching on jokes. Oh, here's a all right. No, that's a terrible joke. It's an ant joke. And it's a very kind of like, yeah. I'm not going to waste any of our time reading that joke. I should just delete it. It's lame. You know what? I think I'm out of jokes. Yep, I think I'm out of jokes. That's a joke already. Drink a Coke, tell a joke, then we croak. I love it. Yeah, better the pop filter than SM58, which I hope I'm not doing too many plosives on this thing right now. What? You live on the water 3 days a week? That sounds awesome. Slow clap. Well, in other news, today I learned that humans eat more bananas than monkeys. And I gotta say, that's true because I don't remember the last time I ate a monkey. Ba-doom-ps. I mean, it's not one of those jokes where you ask the question and wait, but I mean, maybe that'll do. Yeah, the joke was so bad that even I wouldn't tell it. And I think I got the joke because I don't know if anyone's seen it, but there's that Facebook group of people who pretend to be ants. And I'm actually a part of that Facebook group. And it's like invite only. I don't know who invited me, how I got it, but I got the invite and I was all for it, and it's great. It's amazing. It's literally just people posting like, hey, I found a crumb, and it's a picture of a piece of crumb and a little ant next to it. And it's like, I need help lifting, and everyone comments in capital letters because the language of ants apparently is all capitalized. And everyone just types in their comment, one word comments of just lift, lift, lift. So yeah. And then I saw a joke about ants, so I grabbed it. Oh man. Homeless man in a wheelchair with no legs, holding a sign that says, "Give me $1, I'll kick your ass." Why do we tell actors to break a leg? Curious. I have no idea. Exactly. An invite from the Queen. Obviously. Who is my favorite singer? Probably. There was a point where I was real. I mean, like I still am. Like Muse is a big band for me. They're freaking awesome, and Matt Bellamy's voice is like holy hell. The guy can sing, and it's freaking awesome. But yeah, I mean, he'd probably be one of my favorite singers. Not a classic band or any of that. The oldest band that I would think of as being a favorite singer of mine would probably be, and it's not even a classic band. It's James Hetfield, Metallica, for the rugged stuff. But that's also because Metallica's what got me started and everything, so it's a little biased. What do you have to be smoking to come up with the ant group stuff? Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of like that one guy that picked a random date and told everyone, hey, on this day, we're all going to raid Area 51. And somehow that group took off. And they even had a festival. And that weekend of that festival, actually was going to Vegas. So we saw a bunch of signs for it. And a lot of people backed out because they were scared, but it still happened. There was still a little bit of something that was happening, not near Area 51, but, well, not near enough that they can get in trouble. But, yeah.
Did you go?
No, but I went to Vegas that weekend, and I saw a lot of people going through that, like taking that exit and going. He wouldn't be surprised if I went, though. If I had nothing to do, I totally would. Just for the sake of doing something. Gavin, first time joining, welcome. I am not Warren. Warren's in the restroom. He'll be back. But this is intermission time, where I just kind of fill up random things and talk and tell jokes, and people tell me that I should stick to my job. Why don't suspenders make good singers? Because they don't know how to belt. That's a good one, Tom. All right. That is my time. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back some other time.
What was the joke?
It was let's see, let me pull it up.
What was the joke? We want to know Eric's joke.
It's a one-liner. It's not much of a ask a question joke, but it's today I learned that humans eat more bananas than monkeys. And I gotta say that's true because I don't remember the last time I ate a monkey.
Oh.
Hats off to that one. Woo!
No, hat went on to that one.
Oh.
Gee. More bananas than monkeys. Okay. Yep. They're all Team Eric. They don't mind. Lee Stewart says, love you, Eric, but you're kind of sucking today.
Yeah. Today.
Vans de Bloom says, bye, Eric. Like,
Yeah.
so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, Au revoir. Adios. All right. Let's see what's next. Next is Frozen Colors. And I know he is here. I see him. Hey, Frozen Colors. So let's see what Frozen Colors says. Hey, everyone. This is a lot to read. Hey, everyone. This is my mixer master who's in the right. This one's been a popular one. People love this song. It's a song which got more comfortable with bus compression and saturation, maybe a little too much with the saturation. That's exactly 6 dB of dynamic range in the song. First section peaks at -7 and last at -1. It's very inspired by Thank You for Loving Me by Bon Jovi, mixed by Clear Mountain, by the way. He's the man. Please read the next lines after you listen to the song. We don't we don't do that. All right, let's listen to the song. Okay, here we go. I'm very excited. I just I like to listen and have an opinion. I know people want to. I had this. I was working with this French band, Black Rain, a couple of years ago, and they recorded some stuff in Paris, and we did some retracking and we mixed it, and it was like averagely recorded, wasn't great. And they're like, "Oh, our engineer really, really wants to know why you track some stuff. Would really appreciate the help." And I was like, "Are you sure?" And they're like, no, he really wants. I was like, okay. So I wrote him this really nice email with all of these different things that I felt could be better and the reason why. And then he just wrote me back this long email of why I was wrong. So you know what I mean? It's like it's great. All right, so let's have a listen. Very excited to hear it. Who's in the right? Frozen Colors. Here we go.
Sunny days and smiling faces. Isn't that where we belong? Down a road only hope can take us. Singing songs of peace and love. Singing now. But heavy hearts, they won't escape us. We cross the line when it gets blurred. Why can't we, if God forgave us? A fight's a fire, we both feel burned. We'll drop bombs all day and night to show who's in the wrong and who's in the right. Who's in the wrong and who's in the right? Empty looks on empty faces, with something stolen from our soul. Seeking gold in foreign places, never failed to sup its store. Once again we raise our voices. Give us what we're looking for. The world's a product of our choices. Will we choose to stop this war? We'll drop bombs all day and night to show who's in the wrong and who's in the right. Who's in the wrong and who's in the right? till the other one's down and out of sight. It seems we can't move on without a fight. Singing now, who's in the wrong? Yeah, who's in the right? Who's in the wrong? Yeah, and who's in the right? Who's in the wrong? Yeah, and who's in the right? Who's in the wrong? Yeah, who's in the right?
On the whole, I really like it, and you know, it is creative to do that huge amount of dynamic change. You got to bear in mind that if it's being mastered, they will grab like this area here at the end, you know, bring that up to about 0 dB, you know, bring it up to an area where it's competitive, and as a result, this will come up. It's playing with dynamics is good, but we've got to be careful that if you want to preserve this, it's not going to seem that loud. Like if this was a radio song, it'd be like, oh, why is it really quiet at the beginning? That's what people are going to think. Now, obviously, radio are going to also apply additional compression and limiting, which they do. You know, when I hear my songs come on the radio, sometimes I'm like, when I hear like "You Found Me" and like some of the phrase stuff when it first got really big, first hearing "You How to Save a Life," I'd be like, wow, that doesn't sound like the recording, you know, because it's got that extra additional stuff. So there's that. But, you know, I love playing with dynamics. You know me, I'm really into the idea of like having a verse be like a 0.5 or even a dB down from a chorus. I think that just like upping that stuff is really, really nice. I think I'd be working more on maybe making the chorus jump than just building a long, slow kind of growth. I mean, that's a kind of a cool idea. I can imagine what's going on in your mind, but I think I want to make the chorus pop a little bit more. One of the main things for me is like when the whoa came in, and some of the backgrounds, they're really jarring. They're jumping out quite a lot more. Here, for instance. I mean, they're really loud, and I think it was Anita. I think it was Anita that just pointed out that, and a couple of other people, sorry, that you know, the whole master bus was starting to compress there as that was coming in. So just try and tuck those down a little bit more.
Once again we raise our voices. Give us what we're looking for. The world's a product of our choices.
The drums feel, I think somebody else said this as well, the drums feel a little dark. It's interesting though, because the snare, when I'm hearing it here,
Isn't that where we belong?
yeah, it's dark there. It's a little, it could just do with some, like, I wouldn't be afraid to go to 7K and boost it with a nice long, slow slope, you know, even slope that comes up and brings up some of that 3, 4, 5, 6 with it.
Isn't that where we belong? And down a road only hope can take us. Singing songs of peace and love. Singing now.
Oh, so you mastered it and then automated the volume afterwards. Interesting. Yeah, I don't think that it would translate. I mean, it's an interesting idea, but I don't think it would translate. If it was an album track, like I worked on I'll have to find it somewhere. A track. I don't want to spend too long looking for it. With this band, The Deep Season, a long, long time ago. Old school friends of mine. And we have this track that was like building backwards. So it started off super loud and broke down. So it's kind of the opposite of what you're doing here. But it was very deliberate, and it was definitely it was recorded specifically for that. I don't know. I see the album here. The album's finally up. Came out in '93. Crazy. Makes me feel old. Is it Theme Through a Peaceful Revolution? Yeah, here it is. If I play some music through here, will it work?
Well, as long as we...
If I play Spotify, is it going to work?
Yeah. You just got to go to here.
Yeah.
And click onto Audience ID 44.
ID 44. So this is a band. The album just got released like a few months ago, but it's from '93 and nobody's pushing it, so there's no plays on it whatsoever. Just is what it is. Okay, so this is the opposite.
Hold my vision, if you will. The sirens echo still. The fading town dissolves in Mother Nature's gown, and streams of light run to the sea. Then ooze a sail of trees. We've left the streets, you see. I dream of these years to come, when wise words have replaced all the fears, tears and guns, and the world will come together as one.
So it was an album that came out in Belgium. We're talking 90, I think that was like 91 actually. And the whole idea of it, as you can tell, it's very retro, kind of Motown-y kind of thing. Very mono recording, but with harmonies, kind of Beach Boy kind of harmonies. And the idea was to do the opposite. So if you looked at that wave file, it probably does kind of the opposite, because things are dropping out. But it doesn't, it's less about what we did there, and which I think you should work on, is less about volume, dynamic, natural dynamics of the performance, but more about like maybe muting stuff. If you want to achieve this idea of things getting thicker and lusher, what we did there was like natural performances, but then just things drop out. So that by the end of it, it's just a harmony and then just one vocal at the end. So I think maybe think that in your mixing skills. You know, it's cool to try this idea, but ultimately what you're doing, you know, and I get it. You know, this is what we do. We go through this process where we try out these things. Oh, nobody's done that before. You know, I totally get it. But there's sort of a methodology to it and a reason why it's not a thing that would work. But I think if you did this way and you wanted to make it feel like it comes from something sparse to something massive, do more sort of muting, do more manipulation of stereo mono. Like that song I just played you was almost entirely in mono on Possible, deliberately, sorry. On Possible? What am I talking about today? I've had some freaking crazy words today.
You're hanging around me too much.
Yeah, I've said little when I didn't mean it, and crazy when I'm saying possible. So I think, yeah, I like what you're doing. It's it's good thought process to allow the song to grow. You know, get the drums a little brighter. I think a few people have said that. Let's get it just a little bit more snappy. Get things to be a little bit more biting and happening. And I think that would be great. It's mainly the drums for me. Think this way, think about dynamics, think about getting choruses to pop and all of this kind of stuff. But be aware that when you're doing that, you should be thinking about just using the elements that are there. Yes, preserve some dynamics, let things come in louder. But I think just simply turning something up louder doesn't feel natural unless it was a sound or something that was recorded to do that, like you know what I mean? Mouth words are hard. Yes, I'm having a hard time speaking today. Feeling disintelligent. Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's impossible. Yeah, thank you. I don't know what's going on with me today. It's interesting. I had a good night's sleep. I I got home. What time did we finish last night? Wasn't that late?
It wasn't too bad.
It was an early night because we had a course release today. You know, we were talking about, we had a course release. You need a camera on you. This is like, I'm having this conversation with this imaginary person over there.
But Warren, I am imaginary. I've never been here.
And you need a mic and a camera. Can you, Academy members, tell him that you want that to happen? Because I asked him to do it like a year ago, and he did it like once or twice.
Yeah, I need to bring that setup over here, or I need to be over there.
But you know what? You want to know why he doesn't have a camera and a mic on him? You know why? Because that would mean him having to get here on time. You know, this morning I came in and Glenn was sitting on the couch. Glenn had been filming early this morning here, and I get in and Glenn goes, "Oh yeah, you know, Eric got here at early today," and I was like, "Oh, really good. He got here like 9:30." So no, he got about 15 minutes ago, and I'm like, "That's not early. That's late." And then when he wasn't ready to go at 10:30, I was like, you know, talking about the medal ceremony and how the good dancing girls are going to come out. Anyway, I need to stop talking because I want to get through to Hans, and I know I'm doing what I didn't want to do, just go on a tangent. Anyway, maybe what we can do is organize going to get me. You know what? I just want soup from.
Oh, okay.
Because I got that sandwich.
Yeah, that's right. Never break it.
Yeah, like a veggie soup from Panera Bread. Okay, you all rock. It looks like we are going to go a little bit later because I don't want to be put in a position of not hearing Hans is here. So very exciting. And also Hans, I don't know why I'm saying Hans. Hans is did Who Do You Think You Are, which I'm excited to hear some of the mixes on that because I haven't even finished my mix yet and you guys are already doing it. Amazing. Yeah, see? They're all telling you should have a camera, Eric.
I can't disappoint the Academy.
Yeah. Roasted. My girlfriend said the same about me. Trust me. I'm married, so, you know. My German roots, yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, all the English, have German roots. All right, so Kieran is up next. Hence Anglo and Saxon. I'm going to quickly do Frozen Collars. Fifth mix done. $10 headphones. It's remarkable, and he's only 18. So congratulations. Where are you based again? Are you in India? Am I making an assumption? You did say cricket, and I do remember. I think you told me. Gang vocal, weird distortion happening. Not sure what it is. The mix is smooth. Are you overthinking it? Probably. I like a little bit of crunch and distortion in backgrounds, unless it's pure pop R&B. Even then, a little substance. Lead guitar is a little low, maybe brought up, maybe. I think. This is why. There's much bigger things. I think good mix. Do you think it's capable of winning a mixed competition? How can I improve? No, it's not. It's not capable of winning a mixed competition because of they won't understand the. They won't understand that build up. They won't. That's the problem. All right, Kieran is next. Hey, Kieran. Here's my current mix of. Kieran's a great name, by the way. One of my best friends at school was named Kieran, and my mother's Irish, as you all know, Irish and Dutch. Her mother was Dutch, and her father was Irish. And my father's family is all Huguenot, Flemish. So we have tons of Dutch family as well. God, I have some Scottish relatives, Greek. God bless it. Born in England, living in America. That's why we have a worldwide community. Okay, so Kieran was a name that if I had another son would probably be it. That's how much I like the name Kieran. Thanks very much for great feedback from the forum. Thanks, Anita, Chris, and Sheila. Ready to put it out with general consumption and would love further thoughts on the matter. Had a great time mixing, as usual, who doesn't? Further feedback would be much appreciated. Mixed all in the box with a couple of arrangement tweaks. Thanks, guys. Plappy to know you all. Peter came in with some good notes. Peter always has great notes. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, everyone. I saw Jörg earlier giving some notes. Chris, Anita, everybody. I don't want to, again, single anybody out, but you all are incredible when you come in there with fantastic notes. That's what makes this community unique and wonderful. All right. Here we go. Oh yeah, my grandmother's side has a lot of Scottish relatives. My great uncle was a MP in Scotland.
Night falls like a soldier, can't sleep, thoughts are bleeding, lost my heartbeat, left my love with the sun, left me feeling so numb. I can't move, can't change a thing, I bend, I break, just know you played a part, you know who you are. I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. Oh, I knew where I'd be if I had you from the start. I really need someone. All that it left was half a heart. Will I make it with half a heart? How can I live with half a heart? Origami heart in my chest, fold it, twisted, wasted, such a mess. Got a feeling like you've done this before, like a pro stomp my beauty to the floor. Oh, I can't move, can't change a thing. I bend, I break, just know you played a part. You know who you are. I can't move, can't change a thing. I bend, I break, just know you played a part. You know who you are. I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. Oh, I knew where I'd be if I had you from the start. I really need someone. All that it left was half a heart. Will I make it with half a heart? How can I live with half a heart? I'll make it till tomorrow. On my half a heart, I won't die from sorrow. No, not taking part. I'll make it till tomorrow. On my half a heart, I won't die from sorrow. Oh, 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 all that it left was half a heart. Will I make it with half a heart? How can I live with half a heart?
I love that delay on the end. Fantastic. Well, firstly, Kieran, just like I was saying to Earl, you know, your instincts are really good. You know, what I loved about Earl's mix was like, yes, we had some issues, but overall we were all like, yeah, this is pretty balanced. And you can tell that the ear is really good. Same thing here, Kieran. It's really balanced with a couple of exceptions. I think I absolutely love the kick. I love the low end. I love the punch on it. You nailed it. Snare is really close. It just needs to be brighter. It sounds a little dull at times. And by the way, just to reiterate, we are going to go past 12:30 so we can get Hans in here and Stevie and Tabram, of course. Okay, so yeah, I don't have a meeting, do I? Oh, did you reschedule the two? Matt was supposed to tell you that because we're filming and we can't stop in the middle of filming.
Okay, I didn't hear anything
Yeah.
from that, so let me
Okay. So Kieran, I really love it. I think the kick is amazing. Snare could be brighter. I think lots of people were commenting a bit about the bass. I'm on the fence. I sort of like the bass treatment because I feel like you've gone in there and given it almost a keyboardiness, which I think I was trying to do on the original mix. I think I played the bass. I think I played the bass and the guitars on this. It ended up being a band, a lot of the time Lily would just come over and we would just do work on the tracks. We'd finish writing it and then produce it like there and then. The good people though, really, really good people. I feel like I like what you did on the bass. It could come down ever so slightly and add a tiny, tiny bit of grit just to give it a little kind of... It might have some grit on there already that's being absorbed by the track. And if it is, you can dial it up a little bit. You've heard many times when I do a bass sound and you hear it in solo and it's kind of... And it's like, wow, and people will say, oh, that's too fuzzy for me. And then you put it in the track and all of that disappears. It just adds energy to the bass, but gets a lot... It could have a little bit of that, but I do like your bass tone. I know there was a couple of comments about that, but I like how even and just like consistent it is through the mix. I'm always looking for that first with a bass. I want something that holds and glues it together. So I think Kieran, you did an amazing job on that. Snare could be definitely a little bit brighter, as I was saying earlier. But I think the thing that I think we're all agreeing on is bringing up those those guitars and stuff. Just just a little tiny bit more. Just a tiny, tiny bit. I think, just give it a little bit more edge and attack. The vocal is ever so slightly darker than I would have wanted. It's not dark, but I want a little bit more breath above it, just a little bit more, it's almost perfect, but I think a tiny bit more bite on it. It's very subtle. I'd probably just go in about 7 and go, eek, whatever your boost is on there, just maybe 0.7 of a dB, just a little bit more openness on it. Very, very subtle, but I think it could be absolutely amazing. I really am enjoying this. It's super, super close. I just want to listen to one more thing.
You know who you are. I'm gonna need someone to...
It might be just a little tuck of 6 or 7 out of her voice, just a little bit.
I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. Oh, I knew where I'd be if I had you from the start. I really need someone. All that is left was half a heart. Will I...
Oh yeah, please don't. If you can, make sure you go to your audio and listen to it on HD. It's pretty close. It's pretty close.
I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart.
But we've all done it. We've all gone back and watched something at 720 and then gone, oh, it doesn't sound. Yeah, don't worry, Anita, you're not alone. I've got a really successful vocal video up there, and people are telling me they hear distortion, and then until they put it on 1080, and then they don't. It's really close. Kieran, I do like the vocal. It's super, super close. It might just be the slightest bit of nasalness out of it. If you've got the oak sound or something like it, maybe just see if you can, or run a dynamic EQ and just catch a little tiny bit of this. That might help a lot and might avoid the brightness. Obviously, the crystal algae way of mixing is just boost the top end and smash it into compression, and then it opens everything up. Yeah, I think that's part of the brightness. Peter's saying it's a little lispy. It might be another way of looking at it as well, is get a little bit of that mid-range cut, those 600-700s. It's probably moving a little bit around in that area, number one. But as Peter's saying, maybe the other thing to do would be to slightly relax any de-essing that's going on. If you just relax ever so slightly.
Gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I...
Yeah, YouTube at 1080 is close enough for me,
Gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. Oh, I knew where I'd be if I had you from the start. I really need someone. All that he left was half a heart. Will I make it with half a heart? How can
It's really close though. Just bring in those guitars and give me a little bit more aggression. I think it will also help to the dynamics and the excitement a little bit. Yeah, it's really close though. It's a great mix. Kieran, really fantastic. I love that kick. Listen, everybody listen to that kick, how well presented it is.
I won't die from sorrow.
Just to get a little bit of that out of, a little bit out of a nose out of a vocal, just a shade. Relax your de-essing ever so slightly. Thorough, sorrow. Yeah, relax your de-essing a little bit. Tiny bit of cut in the dynamic or oak sound if you've got it in those mids there, lower mids, not low mids, but the lower mids, 600-700-ish kind of area. And I think you're going to be pretty darn close. It's very, very subtle things. Really great. Great mix. Kieran, awesome. All right, next up is Tabram Baker. Hopefully I am not messing up your name. Tabram Baker says, I had a lot of fun mixing this one. Still have a lot to work on. Would love any feedback on this mix. Wonderful. And remember, obviously, all of these songs are on SoundCloud or Google Drives, and you can go back afterwards with this commentary here and listen at your heart's content. And make notes, and please carry on, helping each other out and doing all the incredible stuff that you do. All right, Tabram Bakers, keep it together. Here we go.
Long legs and hair, I struggle with you.
Oh, nice ending. Gotta keep it together. Really, really nice. I'm really enjoy this a lot. My notes are a lot of like wows. Let's go here, for instance. I love hearing that ring in the snare. You know, this is a perfect song to have like a tighter tuned, higher pitched, not too high piccolo, but with a bit of a ring on the snare. Absolutely love it. It's perfect for this. My only, if I was to say I could stand behind this mix, this is really good. If I was to make one comment, it's just the vocal sound for me. It's the only thing that really bothers me. I feel like it's either my vocal thickening trick or some kind of chorusing or flanging that, you know, that's causing this. But the vocal sounds a little bit too artificial for me. Loving those drums. Bass, I hear all the articulations. I feel like I can hear the right hand technique. The guitar on the right and left is a little tiny bit tame. They could do with a little bit more edge. You could maybe put like a little tiny 5% decapitator, sans amp, lo-fi, whatever you have in your arsenal, depending on what DAW you're in, just to get a little tiny bit of crunch on there, just the gnats. You hear what I'm saying? I think that's my vocal thickening trick that's causing it, but it's making the vocal feel like it's coming out the left, the right, and the center almost equally. I just kind of want it to feel more centered and less affected. If I was to say that's the most important thing, if you could get that vocal to sound a little bit more natural, and there may be 1% edge on the guitars, just a little bit of highs on there. Yeah, I agree with Shaylee. It's like in the chorus, it doesn't bother me as much, but in the vocal and the verse, you're like, yeah, it's like, what's going on there? It's so close to being a great mix. Like I say, 1% extra grit on those guitars. Don't change the sound dramatically. Just kind of go. It's really hard to explain. Like, this is the subtlety of mixing in analog, where you used to basically. You remember the old, trying to think of guys I really admire that were to illustrate this, but they would end up putting it through a chain of stuff that barely, seemingly did very little. Like the Manley Varimu is the ultimate for that. The Manley Varimu has a way of taming high end and high mids ever so slightly without making it sound dull. Meaning if you take like spiky transients on an electric guitar, like a stereo guitar bus, for instance, and push that through the Manley, it seems to come out more even and more controlled. But if you were to bounce them side by side and play them in solo, you'd be like, oh, it's like 5% better. That's sort of the old school analog approach. I think what's happening now with plugins is we open them up and we start going, doing all these thousands of things. The reality is with analog equipment is you looked over people's shoulders like Brower and CLA and all of these guys, and you look behind them and there was just a wall of analog gear. And everything was running through it, barely doing anything. But it all contributed at the end to this like extra sparkle, this, you know, gentle amounts of compression used in series, just making everything sound fuller. So I feel like that's sort of the approach I want on the guitars. I think bring down that chorusing, flanging, phasing effect. It might be just the H3000 being a little too loud. Bring that down, make that vocal sound more natural, and I think you're super, super close. This is a really good mix, Tabern. Really good mix. I'm loving loving everything about it. Really awesome. Bass is even. I'm hearing the fingers on it. Yeah, trust me, I don't have the Manley. I don't have the Varimu. I would love one. I would use it every day. But just, I have so much great gear. It's like, It's like, yeah, do you pay your mortgage or do you buy a Verymew? You know, and I'm in this, I'm in this sort of place. You know what I mean? Okay, Stevie Trudell is next, and Stevie says, "Hello, Academy. Here's my mix of Who's in the Right by the Gallery. People love this song. It's getting a lot of love. Wanted to give it a played in the room sound. Fantastic. I like it when people take direction like that. So I end up using a little effects on the tracks, just a subtle reverb delay on the vocal phrases. I'm pleased to see with how it turned out. And I'm still developing my area of trouble deciding when a mix is finished. So any feedback is most welcome." Great. Here it is, Stevie Trudell. Or Trudel. I don't know if you say Trudell or Trudel. Depends on where you're from.
Sunny days and smiling faces. Isn't that where we belong? Down a road only hope can take us. Singing songs of peace and love. Singing now. Heavy hearts, they won't escape us. We cross the line when it gets blurred. Why can't we, if God forgave us? A fight's a fire, we both feel burned. We'll drop bombs all day and night to show who's in the wrong and who's in the right. Who's in the wrong and who's in the right. Empty looks on empty faces, with something stolen from my soul. Seeking gold in foreign places, never failed to sup its store. Once again we raise our voices, give us what we're looking for. The world's a product of our choices. Will we choose to stop this war? We'll drop bombs all day and night to show who's in the wrong and who's in the right. Who's in the wrong and who's in the right. We'll drop bombs all day and night until the other one's down and out of sight. Seems we can't move on without a flag. Singing now, who's in the wrong? Yeah, who's in the right? Who's in the wrong? Yeah, who's in the right? Who's in the wrong? Yeah, who's in the right? Who's in the wrong? Yeah, who's in the right?
Wow, Stevie, are you a drummer? Great drum sounds. You know, absolutely fantastic drum sounds. I'm going to listen to this part again. Just the way it came in on the top always is promising. You know, with this song, the way it comes in. Listen to that again.
Sunny days and smiling faces. Isn't that where we belong? Down a road only hope can take us. Singing songs.
Really cool. I think I've very, very little, you know, to say critically about this in a negative way. I think, you know, the bass tone is great.
Isn't that where we belong?
It's a tough one. I think the bass needs to be automated down in the verses. It sounds great, and I love hearing, you know, the sound of the pick on the bass. Instantly, you know, down, 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 you know, the world's greatest bass tone from 1980, The Pretenders, you know, which is interesting because you listen to it now, and of course, it doesn't have the low lows that we have in digital. It just has that classic off vinyl sound, you know, which felt massive when we were kids, and now, of course, feels like, oh, where's it gone? But this bass tone here is just great. You did a really good job. But I think it needs to come down. It just needs to feel like he's just tucked into the track.
Isn't that where we belong? Down a road only hope can take us. Singing songs.
Yeah, just tuck it down. Bring it down like a dB. See where that feels.
Singing now. Heavy hearts, they won't escape us.
Yeah, the vocal's right just on the edge. Just on the edge. It's like rock and roll. You could bring it up a little bit, but I think you could also be conscious of maybe ducking the snare a dB in the verses. It's going to get that balance. You've got a little bit of a fight going on with the lead vocal and the snare, just ever so slightly. But be careful that, you know, with things like when there's less going on, the solution might be not to turn the vocal up so much, but to bring the snare down ever so slightly.
Sunny days and smiling faces. Isn't that where we belong? Down a road only hope can take us. Singing songs of peace and love.
It's pretty tasty. I feel like I think once that bass is down, I think it's going to open up a lot of possibilities.
Heavy hearts, they won't escape us. We cross the line when it gets blurred.
Oh, I love the way you feature that line. See, you could bring the bass down around it, but keep the bass line up because that. I remember working with the bass player on that.
We cross the line when it gets blurred. Why can't we?
That can stay up. I can stay at that volume. Just bring the bass down to dB either side of it. I think I've told you this story 100 times, so I apologize to everybody who's heard me say it, but I had Steven Tyler sitting here, face here, you know, and Tom played this line like that. Tom Hamilton played this line like that, and he's like, turn it up. And I turned it up a dB, and he went, turn it up. I turned it up 2 dB, and he went, turn it up, and I turned it up 3 dB. And so there's a line, and I have to try and remember which song it was in this Aerosmith song where the bass just sings out. And I remember thinking that Stephen was crazy, and then you listen to the record, and you're like, oh. He said to me, if something needs to be turned up, turn it up too loud. It's very kind of you, Peter. Peter always brings great advice to everything, so I appreciate the props, but you know, it's the quality of people in here like Peter and so many other people that makes this all of you, that makes this such an amazing community. So, Stevie, it's really close. Very, very subtle things. I think we all love the drums. I think writing that bass is really going to help. And then just seeing about the vocal, just seeing if we can get that balance between the vocal and the snare at the right time. Otherwise, superb mix. Love the drum sound. You really exaggerated in the best possible way what I loved about my own drum room. So here it is. Last, but definitely no means least, Mr. Hans van der Boom. All right, Hans. Hans says, this is my first contribution to Produce Like a Pro. Mixed using Cubase 10.5 and headphones. Did not use any drum samples, so the drum sound is real. Interesting. Excited to hear it. To get a vintage rock sound, I did not push the kick. Furthermore, I added an extra organ in the pre-chorus. Lovely. Tried to adjust the timing of the piano. Had some fun with the vocals and the outro lead guitar. I'm curious what the reactions are on the mix. Great. And looks like Niklaus came in and gave some advice. Love it. All right. Last but no means least, Hans. I need to play a guitar. I haven't strummed a guitar for a day or two. This feels very strange. I want to play along with this. Who do you think you are? I'm very excited by this. Thank you, Hans, for being the first to do this, I believe.
Love one another, help one another. Don't you think you know by now? If I do what I please, would it all fall to pieces? All this time we still don't know how. So put it all together. Is it getting any better? Well, who do you think you are? Say that you love me, walk out on me. Won't you tell me who do you think you are? To reach out and touch me, say you're sorry. Oh, who, yeah, do you think you are? You say live for the moment, don't be a loner. No one is an island, you know. So I do all I can, and I know who I am. After all this time, you still wanna go. It's resting on your shoulder. It's time you make up your mind, yeah. Who do you think you are? Say that you love me, walk out on me. Won't you tell me who do you think you are? To reach out and touch me, say you're sorry. Now who do you think you We shared all the good times and through all the hard times. It hasn't been easy, I know. You can pray to the Father, go home to your mother. She's waiting there with open arms. Yes! Well, it's resting on your shoulder. It's time to make up that little bitty mind. Now, well, who do you think you are? Say that you love me, walk out on me. Won't you tell me who do you think you
Nice. I love that ending. So it's interesting. I think you fulfilled everything you wanted. It's got the live feel. I really, really enjoy it. Thank you, Hans, for doing this. My only real comment is just one thing. I feel like the additional distortion and fuzzed tone on the guitars is just a bit too much for the rest of the mix. It's feel like you have nailed the 70s feel. You sounds like a band live. The only thing is, on that, I was just playing along. You can give me back the guitar. You know, on the on the riff. It's fun when these are songs I wrote. I think I told you about this. I wrote this song about a girl that's now married to Pat Smear. On that, you know, I know it was kind of a thinner sound for me. It was more of a Jeff Beck, rough and ready. This was kind of what I was going for, like rough and ready period Jeff Beck when I wrote this song. But I think that it's just a bit too fuzzed out. Have a listen. It feels like there's an additional amount of fuzz on there that's just taking it just a little tiny bit over the top. Look, I totally understand. Look, I love the mix. I love the naturalness of it. I think you're so close to nailing, you know, that 70s thing, which is what she wanted, but she didn't let me do. She's a really good friend of mine, Ronnie. I don't want to be negative at all. And as you know, very, very talented. You know, had that band Venus and Razor Blades, wrote a hit for the Runaways, you know, so totally legitimate, wonderful person.
Love one another, help one another. Don't you think you know by now?
So that's just a little bit fuzzed out. And she herself uses a little bit too fuzzed a tone for me. I had to like dial it back, and I still don't think I dialed it back enough. You know. Yeah, it's just a little bit too rock for me, just a tiny bit. Look, and I get it, but it's tough, you know, if you're going to go for that really big, like more fuzzed out rock tone or heavier rock tone, then you'll end up with drums that are a bit more aggressive and not as natural sounding. So yeah, I want to cover this song, cover my own song for a demo. I think Steve would nail this, don't you? Don't you think Steve would nail this? I think this would be an HMS song. Just so you know, the drummer of the Zootons emailed and messaged me and said that they love our cover of Valerie. How fantastic is that? It's really, really wonderful. And he's coming back to LA soon after the pandemic dries a little bit. So I think we'll have him do some stuff. This could be a really good song for him if he's around. If not, I'm sure Matt would nail it. And of course, Blair Sinter would as well. Wow. So I just think a little bit more, you know, yeah, Shaylee's saying as well, yeah, would more early 70s kind of tones just to match some of the other stuff. But, you know, yes, Tom's saying, yes, Steve would nail it. It's a really good mix, and you got it so unbelievably close. Did exactly what you wanted. A great way to finish up. Just see if you can give us something a little bit less kind of fuzzed out on the tones. And when I do the version of it with Steve singing, I'll give you guys and girls all the DI so you can you know, mess with that as well. Wonderful. You all rock. Absolutely rock. Yeah, the Zootons are amazing. So please go over, check out the latest video on YouTube, and remember you can get Jordan's course that we're putting out with an extra 25% off. Just put the PLAP 25 on it. Yeah, it's going to be a really, really, really good course. I think you're going to absolutely love it. You rock. Been an absolutely wonderful week. There's 3 new people, I believe, that put up mixes. So thank you ever so much for all of you doing that. Wonderful level of stuff. Amazing as usual how everybody comes in and helps each other out. Completely incredible. I am going to, hopefully, is my lunch out there?
I don't know yet, but it should be out there any minute.
I'm going to have some lunch and call my wife and then do some filming. We have some great things coming up. Please check out the course, and we'll do mixed critiques on the course. If you get the course, we'll do a week of just mixed critiques on that. It's the Jordan course. There's 2 sets of rock tracks in it. There's Silverstein, which are quite a well-known rock band and quite successful, a few gold records. And the other one is this prog metal band called After Image, and they are insane. I would love to hear your mixes on those. You all rock. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing. Oh, did you put the course link in here? Maybe
I did not. I don't think it will be in there, but I will put it right now.
He's going to put it in right now. Am I going to beat him to it? Is he going to do it before me?
No, I think you always beat me.
I always beat you? Why would I beat you? I mean, Eric. Here it is. Remember, you can get PLAP 25, you get an extra 25%. That was me who did it. And again, I did it again. Twice, and he still hasn't done it. All right, you all absolutely rock. Thank you ever so much. Please go over to get the course if you want to get the course. I think it will be good. The reason why I like to mix it up with some other genres and stuff is so many of you are studio owners, amateur or professional, semi-professional, and we all want to learn how to work with all different kinds of genre. Shaylee just called her. She says hi. Sorry, called who? I missed. Ronnie. Yeah, say hi, Ronnie. Marvelous. You all rock. Thank you ever so much. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing. See you Wednesday. We should be set up to do the mix again on Wednesday, Eric.
Actually, Wednesday, are we going to have our live RX8 video? I don't know if we're going to do that live or...
No, we're not doing it live. We're filming.
Okay, cool.
We're filming it on Saturday.
Oh, okay, cool.
Are you sure that's on Wednesday?
That's just what I had down from the emails a while back. I don't know if...
Let's go and check that out, because we do also have to do the Mac DSP. We're going to do the new RX. They're giving us the new version of it, so we're going to demo that. We're also going to do, the Eric Cam says Surge. So don't forget that. Marvelous. All right, you all absolutely rock. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing, and we'll see you all again very, very soon. See you next Wednesday. Okay.